Dealing with difficult people. We all have people with whom we struggle with. Problematic people who seem to drain us of our energies, rub us the wrong way, poke, provoke, frustrate, or trigger us in unpleasant ways. Dealing with problematic friends, colleagues, and family members doesn't need to be stressful and complicated. We can learn to deal with troublesome people by pausing and reflecting and taking a deeper look at ourselves. Yes, take a look at yourselves. Each and everything around you is teaching you. There's a mirror in everything around. We are social animals and we are born into families and expand and grow into our world and communities. We surround ourselves, for the most part, with people we enjoy and love, people that we have fun with, confide in, and rely on, and for whom we do the same. Many times, like attracts like, and we make friendships at our level and people that we can relate to. But what's really going on is in the world, besides the people we get along with, there's also encounters with people that we become involved in or have to work with or interact with that are sometimes labeled as problematic in our lives. Some family members, friends, colleagues, at times can be quite troublesome or difficult for us to manage and deal with. They can upset us often, derail us, challenge us, or bring us into conflict over the smallest things. We struggle with these people and we find ourselves sometimes avoiding, denying, procrastinating, walking away, or feeling hopeless and unable to cope of managing relationships with these people. What's really happening is the dynamics between us and problematic people in our lives is because there's some sort of a disconnect or a difference in opinion or way of living that we are misreading or judging. Even worse, we're sometimes personalizing. Oftentimes, these problematic people in our lives reflect back to us uncomfortable feelings of insecurity, incompetence, or inadequacy. The problematic people in our lives are simply mirroring back our own sensations, judgments, views, and experiences. Many times we feel comfortable with people that feel similar to us or seem to view the world in a similar fashion. And the ones who have differences, we sometimes feel ourselves, feeling upset by or judged by or not understanding or feeling frustrated that we need to maybe express or explain our point of view. But many points are not valid here because people are just different people. They come from different backgrounds, different blueprints, and have different experiences that have shaped them to be who they are. It's not our place to judge. Sometimes it's just our place to have compassion that people are different because they come from different places and have different experiences. Showing us who we are. Let's go back to that point. Every person we interact with holds up a mirror for us and allows us to see certain aspects of ourselves. Each situation and every person we meet reflects certain traits or qualities about ourselves back to us. We know who we are as a son or a daughter in front of our parents. We know who we are as a partner in front of our partner, a sibling in front of our brother or sisters, a student in front of our teachers, a coworker in front of our colleagues, and a friend amongst our friends. The world and every role and person outside of us shows us who we are in interaction to them, shows us the various roles we play, different experiences we have in situations with people that we interact with are. We blame other people for the fact that we find them problematic, but it's not others that are getting us all worked up. Consciously or unconsciously, aspects of problematic people are simply triggering our own insecurities. This sets off an unpleasant emotion and then challenges us whenever we're around those people. Whenever we're in the presence of people that we label as problematic, we find ourselves feeling disturbed or uncomfortable inside because of our judgment of them. As a result, we may judge these people negatively as difficult or problematic, and that thought or schema or map in your head is often reinforced over and over every time you see them. Let's take a deeper look, take a closer, more compassionate look at someone with whom you struggle with. More than likely, this person is not all bad head to toe in every aspect. What uncomfortable feelings do you really have associated with this person? Let's pause and reflect on that. What traits do you like or admire in this person? As I mentioned, there's always good amongst people too. What traits do you have in common with them? Sometimes we can get irritated by traits that we have in common with people too. If we're a little bit demanding and a person's demanding, or if we're a little bit controlling and they're controlling, or we're a little bit assertive and they're assertive, we might find that we're clashing with traits that are actually similar to us. What traits do you struggle with? Are there some problematic traits that you have in common with the person that you label as problematic? In our interactions with other people, even the most problematic person is always acting like a mirror. And every single person we interact with and encounter with is teaching us something about ourselves, whether it's comfort in ourselves and ease with this person, or dysfunction and difficulties, which is all still helping us grow by teaching us. Many times in workplaces, people struggle with people, but you also respect sometimes the people that you struggle with because they may be hard, working, equally driven, ambitious, but they might have different ways of managing their workload or different work ethics or have a tendency to speak up or speak differently. And we may be judging them not by traits that are accurate, but traits that are different from ours. And so it's important for us all to pause and reflect sometimes. Through reflecting, we get to see what's really going on. What do I really struggle with? Is this a trait that is similar to my own? Or are this traits that I just don't know how to manage or deal with? There are many things about people that we like, not just struggle with. But many times when we focus on the struggle, we forget to see some of the other traits that are good in that person. It's important sometimes to pause and reflect and notice how we can manage our relationships better by seeing the whole person, not just pieces we struggle with. Chances are when you begin to examine the problematic people in your life, you'll start seeing the mirror back to you. Chances are you'll find that the traits you admire in other people are the traits that you share, or the traits that you would like to acquire and have. The traits you struggle with, on the other hand, are the traits that you mistrust, or find undesirable, or feel unable to manage with. When someone mirrors back a trait with which you struggle and cannot relate, you need to start reflecting not only on why, but how you could approach this person and their traits with kindness and compassion. Each of us are perfect and a work in progress, and so we do need to recognize that I'm not perfect. I'm also someone who people maybe struggle with. And so let's have some compassion for ourselves and others. And even with the most troublesome person in your life, having compassion for them is a way forward and is a way to feel empowered with somebody that you feel powerless with. Our higher and more authentic selves. We need to learn to see ourselves clearly in the equation of our lives and all the people that surround us, and to accept people as they are. The two main reasons we suffer in life: we don't accept situations as they are, and we don't accept people as they are. By seeing ourselves and others clearly, we can manage our expectations and conduct our interactions with others with greater awareness and compassion. And we might not take everything so personally. Remember, the world outside of us, including the most problematic people in it, show us aspects of ourselves. Through our interactions, we learn and grow and become higher and more authentic versions of ourselves. Let's notice the people that we struggle with and look at those as opportunities to grow, advance, polish ourselves, and become better at our skill set to manage things. Let's take a moment right now, a mindful moment, and breathe in and out and reflect on some of the people that you've labeled as difficult or problematic. What is the mirror between you and them? Let's pause and reflect in this mindful moment and notice, what's the mirror? Take a deep inhale in and breathe out. Another deep inhale in and breathe out. And allow yourself to pause and reflect right now and notice, What is the mirror between you and others that you struggle with? If your mind tends to wander away, gently bring it back to the point of reflecting and pausing and reflecting on these difficult people in the mirror. As I bring you back from this mindful moment, remember, dealing with difficult people is a skill that we all need to learn. Decide to approach the difficult people in your life in a more healthy and compassionate way. Make note of troublesome traits that the people in your life have, and do you share them? Acknowledge the most common positive and negative traits you share with these people, and notice what traits they have that you admire, because maybe that's another reason why you struggle with them. Accept people as they are rather than trying to change them. It makes your life easier, smoother, and it makes you feel more empowered. Practice compassion in your dealings and interactions with others, especially those that challenge you. People who challenge you are not trying to make your life difficult. They're just living their life with a map that is just different from your own. Reflect on that and realize that there's always a mirror in each and every relationship that we interact with.